Good morning, class! Hi, I'm teacher Fiona, and welcome to our English lesson. Are you excited for a fun learning session? Alright, but before we start, let us discuss our classroom rules. First, we must respect each other. Second, switch on your camera if possible. Third, raise your hand if you want to answer. And lastly, I want you to listen attentively. Before we proceed, let's ask someone to lead the opening prayer. Anyone who would like to volunteer? Yes, Miss Pearl? Amen. Thank you, Miss Pearl. Oh, there are only 27 students in the meeting. Where are the others? Can you please tell your classmates to join the meeting so that they can catch up with their lessons? Alright, thank you. Before we proceed, who can recall what we have discussed last meeting? Anyone? Yes, Miss Pat? That's right. Last meeting we have discussed about direct and reported speeches. Direct speech means reporting what someone has said using the exact words with the use of quotation marks, while reported speech is reporting what someone has said not using the exact words. Okay, thank you. So, class, you can also make use of our chat box, okay? Don't hesitate to answer. Now, who would like to play a game? So, this game is called Get Ready to Rumble. Now, based on the pictures shown, what do you think these are all about? Anyone? Very good. These are parts of our body. And let's see if you can still remember what are the 5 basic human senses. Anyone? Yes, Miss Bai? Correct. These are the sense of sight, the sense of smell, the sense of taste, the sense of hearing, and the sense of touch. In this activity, I want you to identify what parts of the body the pictures show, and I want you to arrange the rumbled letters. So let's start. For number 1, what do you think it is? Yes? It is our eyes, and we are using our sense of our sense of sight. Next, we have this picture. What do you think it is? Yes, Miss City? Correct. It is our ears, and we are using our sense of hearing. For the third one, we have, what do you think it is? Our tongue, and we are using our sense of our sense of taste to know if it is delicious or not, right? For the next one, we have, what do you think it is? Our nose, and we are using our sense of smell. For the last one, we have, what do you think it is? Our hands, and we are using our sense of, you're correct, Claire, our sense of touch. Now let's bring it on to another level, and we call it Guess What? Now I want you to identify what basic human senses appeal to the poem below. So this poem is entitled Fresh Baked Bread, and let's see if you can spot them. Now who would like to give it a try? Yes, Mr. Khalil? Sense of sight, correct. Another one we have sense of smell. Third one we have, yes, Miss Kyra, sense of taste. And for the last one we have, yes, Florence, sense of hearing. You are all correct. Now it's reading time. I want you to read and analyze the poem entitled Echoes by Pat Mora. And afterwards, I'll ask some questions about it. I'll give you some time to read the poem. Time is up. Did you have fun reading the poem? Alright, so now I have questions for you. What are the sensory images present in the poem? Do these sensory images contribute to the poem? And how does these sensory images contribute to the meaning of the poem? So let's assume that the students have answered these questions. Do you have an idea now what our topic will be? Alright, so our topic for today is all about sensory images. And for our learning objectives, at the end of the lesson, you should be able to first identify the sensory images present in the poem. Second, use the sensory images in a sentence. And the third one, give the importance of sensory images in the given examples. Now, who would like to read the definition of sensory images? Anyone? Okay, thank you. Just bear in mind that when we talk about sensory images, these are images that appeal to our senses. Let's move on with the types of sensory images. The first one, we have visual imagery. It focuses on the physical attributes of a person, objects, and place. It also includes the color, size, shape, lightness or darkness, shade or hue, pattern, and such. So for example, we have it here, a poem entitled Honeybees by Barbara Vance. So it is an example of visual imagery because it describes the honeybees as bright sunny yellow. The next one, we have the gustatory imagery. It focuses on how the food tastes, and it includes our 5 basic tastes. We have salty, sweet, sour, bitter, and savory. So for example, we have it here, a poem entitled I Ate a Chili Pepper by Barbara Vance. And it says here, Sandy said I'd burn my mouth. Basically, burning your mouth is a consequence of eating something very spicy. Next, we have auditory imagery. It focuses on how the way things sound. It also includes alliteration and onomatopoeia in creating sounds. So for example, we have it here, a poem entitled Bird Song by Barbara Vance. And we can easily notice that it is a bird because of its sound, tweet, tweet, tweet. Next, we have olfactory imagery. It describes what we smell. It also includes fragrance and odors. So for example, we have a poem here entitled The Ultimate Chocolate Chip Cookies by Barbara Vance. And it says here, they are fresh out of the oven, which means it is new because of its fresh aroma. Lastly, we have tactile imagery. It focuses on what we feel when we touch something. It includes where we can feel it, the temperature, textile if it is smooth or rough, soft or hard, slimy or sticky, blunt or pointed. For example, we have a poem here entitled Snow Kisses by Barbara Vance. And it says here, you'll feel lots of icy kisses as the snowflakes flutter by, which means that touching snowflakes are like kisses, because although it's cold, it warms our hearts. The use of sensory words are also helpful. For our sense of touch, we can use the words bumpy, rough, smooth, sticky, gritty, slimy, fluffy, soft, powdery, and such. For our sense of hearing, we can use the words tinkling, squeaky, thundering, thumping, shrill, thudding, and any onomatopoeias like crashing, beaming, buzzing, and such. For our sense of sight, we can use the words emerald, misty, shiny, shadowy, dim, bright, smudge, colorless, glittery, glossy, and such. For our sense of taste, we can use the words salty, bitter, sugary, tangy, spicy, peppery, lemony, minty, fruity, tasteless, and such. For our sense of smell, we can use the words rotten, perfumed, odorless, musty, stale, fragrant, woodsy, floral, fresh, smoky, and such. Now let's see if you have learned something from our discussion. So this activity is called Build, Build, Build. And I want you to choose one type of sensory image. It could be visual, gustatory, auditory, olfactory, or tactile. And create an example in one sentence. So I'll give you some time to think and answer. Time is up. Now who would like to share their answer in the class? Anyone? Yes, Mr. Kyle? Correct. And that is, you use the visual imagery. Anyone else? Yes, Miss Crisel? That is also correct. And this time you used auditory imagery. Now, do you have any more clarifications or questions about our topic? Hearing none, this time I will be the one to ask you, and we call it Share It. In 2 to 3 sentences, share what you have learned in our discussion and give the importance of using sensory images in any literary piece. So I'll give you some time to think. Time is up. Now who would like to share their answers? Since there are no volunteers, I will be calling someone. Is Miss Patricia present? Okay, so you may now share your answers. That's correct. Aside from it helps us understand and enjoy any literary piece, it also allows us to think more deeply about it. So thank you very much. Let's now proceed to our next activity, and we call it Matchy Matchy. This time, prepare your notebook and write your answers there. And then later, take a photo of it and submit it to our Google Classroom. So for test 1, read the sentences in column A and match your answers in column B. For number 1, it focuses on how the food tastes. Number 2, it describes what we smell. Number 3, it focuses on the physical attributes of a person, objects, or place. Number 4, it focuses on what we feel when we touch something. And for number 5, it focuses on how the way things sound. For the next part, we have read the poem below, locate and write the examples of sensory images that are present in the poem, and then identify what type it belongs to. So this poem is entitled Green Giant by Jack Prelutsky. Are you done? So let's assume that the students have answered their task and already submitted their answers in our Google Classroom. And for your assignment, create a sensory poem of your chosen topic. Use the format below and complete the poem. So we have title here, by This Is Your Name. So when to submit? Next meeting. And I want you to write it down in 1/2 sheet of yellow paper, take a photo of it, and submit it to our Google Classroom. This will be a total points of 25. That's why don't miss it. Do you have any more questions or clarifications about our topic? Hearing none, thank you students for listening. And to formally end our discussion, who would like to lead the closing prayer? Yes, Miss Bea? Amen. Again, thank you for being here today and for your participation. I hope that you learned something. See you next meeting. Keep safe.